So have you ever played the game Over Under?
I have. And
It's really fun.
Horrible.
What have you played it for?
I guess I don't really know. Like, I can't think of.
So groceries is a fun one. Like when you're checking out like how like over under on your like alcohol.
I do it a lot at like bars.
Bars, a restaurant, right? Like are you over under? I'm horrible at it too. I never win the game. Terrible.
Way off.
I know, me too. Or I'm really high because I have that like old New York like mindset where like everything you bought was, it felt like it was $10 more, like a gallon of milk instead of being, $5 is $10 and whatever. I remember the first time I was in New York and I got a hamburger that was like $15. And I remember just thinking, this is insanity.
Was it a good hamburger?
It was good. All the food in New York is so good. And you can eat really inexpensively in New York or really expensively.
Okay, that's true.
Because you can eat like, you can get Thai food and it's pretty inexpensive and it's delicious. But you can also spend $500 at Danielle.
Yeah.
There's everything in between. And that blew my mind because I did eat at Danielle's once. And there were people in there who eat they come regularly. And it's $200. $200. Like for just one person, it's $200. I remember just being blown away by that fact. But anyhow, I digress. So, today, I'm going to make you play a game with me. So I know. So we always are talking about different products and, we hear a lot of pitches about products.
Yes, we do.
And we see a lot of Instagram and influencer stuff. So I made a little list here on my little piece of paper.
I did try to sneak a peek earlier and she instantly covered it.
I know, I did cover it because I don't want you to know what I'm going to ask you. So I thought it would be a good way for us to talk about is it worth the hype? Okay. Because I think when you're watching YouTube and when you're watching or listening to things or you're in a store and everybody's like, oh, this is the blah, 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 blah. It's overwhelming because you think, well, do I need that? I must need that. Is that a thing that's important?
And then you don't know if it's just like a sales technique or if it's like genuine excitement over a product.
Right. Like, is it really effective or whatever? So we're gonna go through. It's like our version of over under.
Okay.
Like, is it overrated or underrated?
Okay.
So you can start. You can say it's an over or an under.
Okay.
Because if it's overrated, that means it's eh. And we can talk about why. Or if it's underrated, that means...
Can there be a neutral? Like it is?
Yeah, we can be
it's
neutral.
Ranked exactly where it is.
Yeah, it's good. It's whatever.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. For over, under, / hype or no. Beauty blenders.
Okay. I think they're overrated for a few reasons, but I also like them.
I know.
So it's a very I want to say I'm just in the middle because I understand why people use them and I like them, especially for blending. A lot of times when you blend with brushes, you sometimes still get the brush strokes in your foundation, and I like it in the way that it makes your foundation very multi-use.
Yes.
If you want your foundation to be less full coverage, you can always use a beauty blender and thin it out because it's a sponge, so it's going to absorb it.
Pick stuff up.
But I think they're disgusting.
Yeah.
And not just any beauty blender, because that's the name brand. Any makeup sponge, any cosmetic sponge that's multi-use is gross because literally the same bacteria that's in your fecal matter can grow in those sponges.
It's so disgusting.
And there's no real way to wash them, even if you do take I a lot of times with my own sponges, I would never I never reuse sponges on clients, but I do see some makeup artists who try to wash them, and they're sponges.
Right, you can't get rid of that.
They absorb everything. You can't wash that.
You can't. And I think that's a note to people listening. You don't, if a makeup artist is trying to reuse a sponge on you that you haven't seen come out of a package.
I purposely leave, and it takes up so much space in my kit, but every time I go to a client and do their makeup, I leave all my beauty blenders in the original packaging.
Yeah, so they know.
Literally see me cut the tape, open the packaging, and they know
use a fresh
it's
sponge.
Even if people don't really recognize that.
Right.
Same thing with I'm constantly sanitizing my hands. in front, like I make it very apparent and very obvious that I'm doing it, because that just should be something you do.
But they do give, like, I mean, I'm not a huge fan. They always freak me out and they're way too much work. I don't want to have to wash that. I don't want to deal with them. But I do think there is a moment for them. Like there are reasons to use them, especially like I think around your eyes and places where you need like, I mean, I find it laborious to do my whole face with one, but like in patches, I like them.
And I don't do my full well, I guess in a way I do my full face. I don't really use it. Like my foundation, I just use my fingers most of the time. My concealers, I kind of blend out with like a little brush, but then I kind of go in again with like my fingers.
Right.
But I like it at the very end of my makeup routine when I have like my bronzer and like blush on, and I kind of take it and I spray like setting spray on, and then I just like dab it. So like everything's
gets
like
pressed.
Set. Yeah.
I gotcha. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I get that. All right. So that would be a neutral for Amelia and would be overrated for me. All right. So let's pick something else really fun. Eye gels and eye patches. We see everybody doing the little eye gels, eye patches, like the Patchology.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is the thing again. I really like them.
Yeah.
But I feel like everyone uses them. So I almost want to say they're overrated. And I don't mean that like, don't use them. They're pointless. They don't work. Because I really do think they work.
Yeah, they do work.
I also see people that use them every day.
Honestly, I think that's the only way they like, I mean, to do them regularly, like maybe not every day, but like every other day or kind of on the regular, I think is a good way to use them and make them effective. I would say my problem with them is you're getting into that sustainability.
Yes.
So it's a lot of packaging and a lot of waste.
Right.
When you can buy products in jars.
Yeah.
So like I've really, I love that Iuna charcoal one that I can put under my eyes, the balm to like tighten and brighten under my eyes, because it's so unusual. You can find masks that are for under your eye. So I do think there are ways that if you're going to use it a lot, if it's not just like a fun girlfriend thing, find something that's a little more sustainable, because it does feel like just a ton of packaging.
Well, and I also feel like it's not sustainable for like a routine.
No, I mean, it's
if you're really the type of person that's super into skincare and you don't mind taking the extra, like, I don't know,
15 minutes or whatever.
In your routine. I mean, obviously it's not like you have to sit there while they're on and you can't do anything else. You can like get your coffee or
do your eyes.
But whatever. I just don't think that's realistic for most people.
No, and I think they're a good booster. I think use an eye cream, use an eye serum.
I feel like a lot of what they accomplish can definitely be accomplished by a good eye cream.
Ritual use of a good eye cream. I agree. Okay.
So overrated.
With some bennies.
Yeah.
All right. I agree with that. Let's go with dry brushing or jade rollering.
Ooh.
All those tooly things.
I think they're underrated.
Okay.
Especially, maybe not like the jade roller and like rose quartz rollers have been super, super popular, like especially on social media. But I think dry brushing is severely underrated.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I think it would depend on the tool.
Okay.
But even if you get into like gua sha, like I think that is like, I think it's like starting to become, I see more and more on my Instagram, at least like on my reels, like women starting to explain it and what it is and what it can do for your face. And like, they'll do like before and after. So they'll do like the right half of the face and leave the left. And it's like crazy just the difference that makes.
It does brighten a lot. And the blood circulation and everything.
And you can just kind of see it like lift, just like a little.
Just a hint. Yeah.
But
it's like, consistency, right?
Yeah, it is. Again, it is consistency. So it's definitely something you have to commit to.
Yes.
I think that's it. That's like, honestly, with all skincare, if you're not going to commit fully to using the product, don't spend your money on it.
True. 100%.
Otherwise, it's not going to, I mean, it'll work, but we get women sometimes who come in, they'll buy an eye cream, it'll be like 2 weeks later, they come in, they're like, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, how long did you actually use it for? So, because it's been 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But did you only use it for the first like 4 days? Well, yeah, because it didn't do anything. Well, a product can't fix everything within 4 days.
No.
So it's all about consistency.
A consistency for sure. All right. So we're going to give that a underrated, basically.
Yeah.
Like underrated.
I think it's underrated because I think people buy them. But again, I don't think they
use them.
Buy them because they want to use them. They buy it because it's cool. They buy it because it's trending right now, but then they don't understand how to use it, what to do with it.
So it is worth the hype.
Yes.
But you have to invest in the time to know what to do. I gotcha.
Otherwise, it just sits on your vanity.
Yeah. It looks pretty, but it just sits there. How about sunscreen?
Okay. That's obviously underrated. And I will always say it's underrated just because I don't think people like fully understand what sunscreen actually like protects you from.
Okay. So enlighten us, Amelia.
This is honestly like, I don't know. I don't want to like use a scare tactic on people, but one of my very good friends, her brother developed skin cancer like on his nose. And it was just like, it looked like just like a little like mole almost by the side of his nose. He ignored it for like, he's a dude. He's like, whatever. It's just a mole. It's a freckle, whatever. So that mole on his nose it was cancerous, and the cancer spread to his brain. So it's just like
a little mole.
Literally just from a little mole.
How would you know? But like, I guess that's like, talk to your dermatologist, get tested. But like,
exactly.
How do you know?
And it's like, there are like certain, like, maybe we could also talk about this in like a different podcast because there's a lot to go into it of noticing like warning signs of like spots on your face. Because there are certain things that you can do or like look at and be like, okay, this doesn't look healthy or this is healthy, because moles will pop up on your body throughout your whole your life. That's totally normal. Yeah. From sun, from just aging.
Right.
And so that's kind of all he chalked it up to be. And then he ignored it for so long. And then he ended up getting like really sick and like went to a few hospitals and they were like, we don't really know what's wrong with you. Finally, one urgent care was like, this is like your 3rd time coming in here and like complaining of these same symptoms. So they sent him to U of M.
And then they found out.
Yeah. And so they can do surgery, but if they do surgery, the part of the tumor where it is in his brain will like literally remove his like personality. So
that was like the Indy Lee story, the brand Indy Lee, that she had that horrible brain cancer because of all her cosmetics.
Behind her third eye.
Yeah, like because of cosmetic usage, which is completely terrifying, which is why knowing your ingredients, I think the titanium sunscreen is nutty.
Yeah.
Like, I do need a little vitamin C. Like, I'm going to argue that all day long. Like, or vitamin D, whatever. Like the sun. I need that, like, light. I need to feel like that some of that is getting to me.
And
but
I think to a certain extent, like, yes, you should be going out in the sun. And I think to a certain extent, freckles are good. Like, you shouldn't like live your whole life under like a big umbrella because you're like, but every day making sure that like your foundation or like your setting spray
something has some sunscreen.
Some sort, and then if you are actually like in the sun, like out kayaking or out for like a long hike, reapplying your sunscreen because it doesn't last you all day.
No, it does not.
Or I have been wanting to invest in like a bathing suit that actually has SPF built into it.
I know, I've seen those. They're kind of cool. So sunscreen, underrated.
Yes.
Even though everyone talks about it, still underrated because I'm horrible about it. I know this. I think a lot of people are.
And I think, I've actually had some people tell me they don't believe in sunscreen.
Yeah, I don't sunscreen exists. It's not that you don't believe in it. So maybe you don't agree with it.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective. Again, I don't fully understand that view. Wear sunscreen. Because I've said this before, but like the biggest thing you can do to like help your skin is just prevent.
Yes.
So,
and everybody knows that.
Yeah. Because it's before you can treat anything, you should just instantly be preventing.
Right. That's why I use good skincare even in your 20s because then you won't have to have all the Botox later.
Because you're going to get wrinkles.
You're going to get wrinkles.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll just be less. Because my mom used to say that because she would go out with the iodine in the, metal, that whole world. Yeah. And the baby oil. And she's like, man, if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have been tanning. And she was super pale. So, of course, you know.
Yeah.
I was only really tan once, like in college. I worked really hard and I wore sunscreen every day. And I'd go up on the roof, Tar Beach, basically, and like tan.
Yes.
And I got to be like the perfect golden marshmallow color because I'm so pale. And so it was like that gold. But it was so much work. I'll never do it again, ever. When will I have that kind of time ever again in my life? Never. Ever.
Maybe once, I don't know, never, I guess.
Never. I just don't have the patience. That was a lot of work. Okay. So let's talk about an ingredient.
Okay.
CBD in skincare.
Okay. I want to say, I think it depends on how it's, I feel like there's all sorts of these like little like, oh, it's underrated, but I think it's underrated. I think it's
pretty hyped right now. You don't feel okay.
I think, hold on. I think it's perceived as it's overrated because a lot of people are just using it for its hype.
Fair enough.
So I think like a lot of brands are just like, chuck it in there because it's cool right now. And like somebody's going to buy it just because it says CBD. And like that's trendy.
Right.
But then there are different brands like Hayoma and then that other brand Fifth and Root.
Right.
I actually really enjoy their CBD skincare. And it doesn't really feel like an afterthought or something that they just added because it's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
There's
I think
like actual reasons they added it into their skincare.
Yeah, I think it's skincare first, CBD as an ingredient because, and I also think there's a lot of misperception about CBD. Like it's not going to get you high.
No,
it's not going to like
THC.
No,
it's not going to show up on a drug test.
No, it's not going to show. So even if you're getting the version that has like the full spectrum. It's not going to ping your drug test. It's not going to like make you loopy. It's not going to do anything. I think there's a misperception about what it is. I do think it's overhyped. I think the brands that are using it as an ingredient in a broader picture, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, hey, this is our version of this cream and it has CBD because it's going to help calm acneic skin. It's going to help calm rosacea. Like things like that where they've actually done the thought process and added it. It's fantastic. But generally speaking.
Yeah. I mean, the fact now that you can go to like your local Speedway and get like a CBD cream kind of.
And please don't put that on your face. Please.
Don't even look at it.
Don't even look at it. All right. So what else? Well, actually on that order, so CBDs kind of would have to fall into overrated unless it's a particular brand, right?
Okay, that's fair. So overrated,
probiotics. Because probiotics are all over right now.
But they're not, I mean, I guess I can't speak to all of them, but majority of them are not like actual probiotics.
No, right?
And I know you know a little bit more about probiotics than I do just because of your experience with like Onique. I'm going to say underrated.
I think they're super underrated. And I think...
especially for like skin.
I think they're super underrated for skin. And I think everyone's starting to talk about them. But there is a lot of misinformation.
I was just going to say, I don't think a lot of people really understand
because,
what it is.
Well, I remember I went to buy probiotics at the vitamin store and I was even like, because you can buy them off the shelf.
Right. Which, how does that work? How are they shelf stable?
Right. So you could buy them off the shelf or you can buy them refrigerated. And I remember being like, well, what's the difference? And a worker at the health store was like, well, they have to be kept refrigerated. And I'm like, well, then what about these over here? Why are they on the shelf? And she's like, well, there's a special bottle that like air seals them.
So how do you get them out?
Well, every time you open it. So I would assume that they lose effectiveness.
Yeah, after so many days.
After so many days of opening, or if you don't get it properly closed. And then there's that brand, Mother Dirt.
Yes.
And that
refrigerate.
You have to refrigerate it for it to be effective. So it has to ship chilled. It has to stay in your refrigerator, and it's like a mist for your face. But I haven't used it. It's supposed to be amazing. So And then there's another brand on the market that's all over Sephora, and everyone's talking about that, but it actually isn't live probiotics. It's pre and postbiotics. So that's like, it's kind of like all the misperception around CBD. Like it can have amazing results even as a prebiotic and a postbiotic. But it's still not a probiotic. So, you know, it's kind of that buyer beware. Do your research, do your homework. I think a lot, I mean, the dirty secret obviously is that a lot of the stuff is made in the same place, right? Yeah. And so they're just churning out, you know, the same product with clever packaging. Yeah. And that's why it's not actual probiotics, because who wants to, like Mother Dirt is shipping everything refrigerated and cold so that when it gets to you, it's cold. And then you put it in your fridge and you keep it cold. So, you know, do your homework, know what you're getting. Prebiotic and postbiotic is still good for your skin. There's that like sugar. I think prebiotic is the sugar and postbiotic is something else. I don't remember. Or maybe postbiotic's the sugar. Anyhow. So do your homework. So I would say definitely underrated for actual probiotics.
Yes.
Okay. My cellar water.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people use it and think that is cleansing.
Fair enough.
And I'm guilty of it too on my super like, I don't really want to like
lazy days.
Lazy days are, I really don't want to take off my makeup, and I'm just like, okay, makeup wipe, like calling it good. Like my cellar water, calling it good. But that's not washing your face. You can't do that, swipe all your makeup off, and then go into like a toner and your serum and moisturizer.
It's not going to be clean.
No, that's going to trash your skin.
And it also seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it's great for eye makeup removal.
Yes.
Like it's a really great eye makeup remover.
Great for like eye makeup removal, helping removing like lashes if you put on like strip lashes. Yeah. I think it's good for like really heavy like lip colors or like lip stains. But it's not a cleanser.
No, it's not. It's not going to deep clean. It's not going to get your skin clean. Now, we all know squeaky clean skin is not our objective either. You don't want to squeak when you rub your skin. You want it to still be dewy.
Your skin's just like pulled back.
Right.
It's so tight.
Well, I do want to feel like it's pulled back. But not for that reason.
Not in the same way.
Not in the same way. Okay. What haven't I covered? Let's see. Ooh, I want to pick a good one.
I feel
long wear lipstick.
Overrated.
Yeah, I agree.
always get those butt lips.
Yeah, or you get the ring. Like I get the ring, and so the middle is no color, and then you've got the like a chunk of. So it's not lined. Yeah. It's just this like chunky.
I like mist. See, I always get like, because I just am dry like normally, so I always get like the cracks in my lips.
Oh yeah,
it looks like everyone calls it like a butt lips because it looks like a butthole, which is kind of a gross way to
that is a super gross. I didn't know that's why it was called that.
But that's what I get, and it's gross.
No, it is. And then if you put like any kind of like a lip balm over it, is now no longer long wear.
I get it for certain. Also, maybe it's just me. I don't like to wear a ton of like lip color. And I think it's because I was teased when I was younger for having like bigger lips. But so now I'm just a little self-conscious anytime I wear like bright colors. I'm always like, oh, like, is it okay? Like I'm constantly checking my lips. So like the idea of long wear lip color and not having to fidget or mess with my lips kind of drives me crazy.
Yeah, and I do feel like they dry out. Yeah. And that bothers me. So then I'm licking them and then I get that like dry, like the bare patch in the middle. It's horrible.
Also, every time I do it, and I really, usually I guess if it's like, if I am wearing like a longer like wear lipstick, it's usually matte. And I always get like, whenever I eat, I always get like a lip print on my chin.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. But I did like the Cloven Hollow ones.
I did like
those lip velvet ones that we used to carry. Those were good. And they weren't as drying.
I like I guess I don't know if these are technically considered long wear. I think they are. The Lucky Chick ones.
Oh, Lucky Chick.
Lacquer?
Yeah. No, those aren't long wear. The lip lacquers.
Okay. Well.
They're really high pigment lip gloss, basically. Yeah. Okay. So they wear like that, I think, because they're so high pigment, which is really nice. I would say, like in the stuff that we have, my favorite would be the RMS lipsticks, the Wild with Desire ones, because those do wear. And Ritual Defee.
The Ritual Defee ones are crazy.
They wear for a long time, but they don't feel dry.
Yeah.
But they're not long wear.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get through a meal.
Yeah. No.
You're not making it through a meal, which I still don't even think long wear makes it through a meal. So
it doesn't, because it
the
flakes
oil
off in your food, and then it gets exactly what you said. It gets that patchy. So every place that the fork touched your lips is missing the color. But like it looks like you have like lip liner on.
Yeah, no, it's weird. All right, so we would say that's overrated. Like just buy a nice heavy pigmented lip, and P.S. Lip primer.
Yeah.
Put on a lip primer. It'll make it stick to your lips. And if you really want to go crazy, tip of the day, use a primer, put your lipstick on, blot it.
I was just going to say blot it, and then you can set it with a little
tiny bit of, the translucent powder. And then you can put even a little bit more on top of that. And you're going to have like a nice thick coating of lipstick that won't
last all day.
It will last a good long time.
It probably won't last through a meal again, but like I genuinely don't think lipstick should last through a meal.
No, that's kind of wacky. And that way too, your lips aren't drying out, and you can make it through your meeting or your class or your coffee date, whatever it is. Okay. What else is on my list? Oh, one of my plum oil.
I don't know.
I know. I
love it.
I love it. I think it's underrated. Even though it got a ton of hype lately, I still think it's underrated.
I think it's underrated, but I think right now it's a little overrated. But I'm just saying that out of jealousy.
Yes, I know, right? That everybody knows now. Because it was like our secret.
Yes, it was like a little secret that we had at the store, and like this. Not our select clients. We showed it to everybody, but like those people who like loved it, and you could go online and you could buy it, and there was no stress.
And it was really effective, highly effective. Was great at brightening, hydrating, everything.
Good. As my brother stole my first bottle and uses it as like an aftershave.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's like such amazing stuff. I still feel like it's probably a little bit of a gem. And not everybody knows about it. There was a blast with Chrissy Teigen.
Chrissy Teigen posted it on her Instagram story, and originally she didn't even really know what it was.
Yeah.
She posted it. She's like, oh, I got this little bottle, and she showed like the mini travel size that they have. And then like the next story over, she actually was like, oh, it's this Le Prunier. And then literally overnight they sold out. And that was back in November.
And we still can't get it. And we're so sad, but we'll get it again. But it did feel like our own little hidden gem of a secret.
So for those of you listening who are on our wait list, whenever we get it in, we will call you first.
We will call you, right? We will work our way down the list, and everyone will get it. But they are still trying to fulfill orders online, and they are making it on their own little farm. I mean, that's that organic. I mean, it's not a little farm; it's an actually active plum farm.
Yeah,
in Sonoma,
like a big plum farm.
Yeah, like it's the real deal.
It like. Yeah, and it's like, it's just wild to me.
No, it's completely wild. But it is, I love it. And I haven't had it in months now because
I know.
Sad face.
I have a little bottle that I actually have in my like waxing kit. So every once in a while, I like, whenever I actually
feels very luxurious.
But now it's like super
I know, it's so precious. Treat. I know it is a super precious, like special thing. All right. I'm getting into like branded stuff, but here's one: gold in skincare.
I kind of think, I don't know.
You are bad at this game.
I know, because I feel this way with a lot of things. I'm like, oh, it's overrated, but I like this, or like it's underrated.
See, I think gold is totally underrated. I say underrated.
I was gonna say overrated.
Really? I think it's underrated. I don't think it's out there much.
Okay, I think this. I think like true gold, like actual like gold,
right?
Like Mackinac gold is not. I think that's underrated. But you go into like Target or Ulta, and there's all sorts of like gold masks.
But isn't that like golden? It's not really gold.
No, it's not gold, but it's marketed to make people think it's gold. So I think in that aspect, like...
Oh, fair enough.
it's underrated because or overrated because people are going for it. But I think like the true like antimicrobial
gold, right?
Yeah,
because colloidal silver, gold, pure gold is antimicrobial. Yeah. So it's really great for balancing your skin. It's great for brightening and tightening. Like it is really great, and I do think it's underrated in its actual essence. I think gold was around a long time ago.
Yeah,
I don't mean long like thousands of years. I mean, like, I feel like I remember gold being like big in cosmetics when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I remember stuff having gold in it, but I don't really think it was real gold.
Yeah.
Or if it was there for pretty, like, maybe I'm thinking of the 80s, like the blinginess of the 80s where everything was gold.
Yeah.
So I think maybe then, but, yeah. So I say underrated for real gold. But yes, gold stuff is overrated. Mm-hmm. All right. What else have we got? Setting sprays. Makeup setting sprays.
I'm going to say, I use one. Like I use one every single day, but I kind of think they're overrated.
Well, why do you use it?
I think like I like the idea of setting sprays, but I definitely think you can accomplish a very similar thing with just like a translucent powder, or
the powders are drying,
or just a good toner, or like a good tonic of some sort. You know, I've been trying out the Lila B one, and I do really like it. It makes you like super, super like glowy and like dewy, but I don't know, like I just feel like if you have like really good skincare, that also makes you really glowy and dewy. Well, I don't know. See, I am bad at this game.
You are really bad at this game. I do think I think setting spray falls into time and place.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Kind of like primer, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't need a setting spray every day.
Yeah.
Like I think you're basically putting hairspray on your face, for lack of a better analogy, right? Oh. Like if you put hairspray on your hair every day, your hair's going to be really dry.
And really crunchy. Yeah.
Crunchy, right? So, but there's a time and a place for hairspray, right? Your wedding, a big party, a crazy updo, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's the truth with setting sprays. Like if it sets up and does help stuff not run or bleed, or it's a humid day, or you have a big meeting and you want everything to just be crisp,
locked in.
Mm-hmm. I do
actually know girls who have used legitimate hairspray as setting spray.
Well, Aquanet is artists use it to set charcoals. Like when they draw with charcoal, they use Aquanet.
It's horrible.
You'll see it in every artist studio ever. They use Aquanet.
My mom still uses Aquanet on her hair.
Oh my gosh. Well, they have to keep it around for the artists, but yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's a very distinct smell.
I kind of like how it smells. But I think it's because it reminds me of my mom.
Right. It's transporting you someplace. Oh my gosh. Okay. On that order, what about water and serum mists? You just mentioned them kind of.
I like them. I dig them. I think.
Underrated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that too.
I think so. Because I think it's quick, and I like I'm constantly dry, so I always feel like I need to like moisturize, but like you can't moisturize over your makeup, and especially right now, just like if you're out and about or like out working or out wherever, it's kind of gross now because I feel like we're so much more conscious of germs and bacteria. It's gross to just I'm gonna chuck on some eye cream and whatever.
Right.
When I've just been grocery shopping or I've been out, like. It's gross to me. So like a nice spray, you can just open it, spritz it, and you don't have to touch. You don't have to worry. It's not going to ruin your makeup.
Right.
So I think underrated.
No, did you hear this thing about like Evian spray, that like water mist from Evian that has a lot of minerals in it, which can be drying, right?
Oh, I heard that.
I heard something about it. It's cooling and it's great.
Yeah. But it's also just straight water.
It's just straight water. And I either heard maybe that was the minerals that in it were drying, or that because it has minerals, you have to be very mindful of that. So I don't know, because that is very refreshing.
Yeah. I think
probably depends on.
I think depending on the brand, depending on the ingredients, depending on
right.
what you're goal is from using. Like if your goal is to just cool yourself,
then great.
An Evian one is probably great. But if you want like one that's gonna like be a little more hydrating, then like the CoQ10 toner by Indie Lee would be great, or the water mist by Kula.
Right, that has the SPF.
Yeah, and that has SPF.
Goldfaden has that one with the Mist RX that has hyaluronic acid.
The Verso has the anti-pollution spray.
Oh yeah,
which I really like how that one sprays out because it's like a continuous spray almost.
It also kind of works as a setting spray.
Oh, I haven't tried that.
It kind of does. I did it the other day by accident, kind of, but it kind of works as a setting spray because there's a little tack to it,
so it sticks.
And that's part of the anti-pollution effect. So it acts like a setting spray.
Yeah.
So then you'd be getting a twofer. You get a little setting.
Ooh, I will say my very, very, very favorite one is the Province Apothecary one.
Well, that's like cooling and nourishing and has a little aromatology to it. Yeah. I know it kind of covers it, but it's not a great setting spray.
No, not a good setting spray, but a good like topper, I think, throughout the day.
No, that is good. All right, let's see what else is on my list. We've done a lot of them. The Ilia skin tint, which we see all over Instagram.
Okay, honestly, I think at this point it is maybe a little overhyped, but I think it's worth the hype.
Fair enough. I would agree with that.
I think like you see it literally everywhere. Every time I go on any form of social media, I get an ad or somebody posting about it in like a group or a forum, or I see a reel or something. I see it, but I love it. And I think it's worth the hype that it gets.
Agreed. I think it is worth the hype. 100%.
Because it like, the longer you wear it, the better it looks on your skin too. Like, and I don't mean like at 4:00 in the afternoon, but like, I mean like 15 minutes on your skin is when you really start to see it like take its like true color.
It does really blend in nicely. I think it's a really good, everyday sort of thing because you don't need full coverage every day unless you have.
And it has the sunscreen.
And it has
so
the sunscreen.
You don't even have to try.
You don't even have to try.
And everyone can be like 4 shades.
Yeah, for legit, because it's so sheer. You can, unless you go completely off book, then you can be 1,000 shades. So I think that's my whole list. The only other thing I have on here, which we've kind of already talked about, Temple Balm, because it's the CBD.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not really out there, so it's not really hyped.
No.
But I feel like it's totally underrated.
I agree with that because there's so many uses. I tried, so when we had Samson on from Home and we were talking about it, I tried that the other night, rubbing it on the bottoms of my feet, and I love it.
Well, do you know how I just used it? My nose, because it's sinus season, I get like cracks on my like tip of my nose or like sore spots from like drippy nose, blowing my nose. And I took a little bit of it because it's calming because of the CBD. And I took a little on my finger and I just pushed it on my nose, like the tip of my nose. And it completely helped my nose.
Wow, okay.
So I'm kind of into it. So I think that's why I made my list today of over under. I was like, ooh, super underrated. I can use it for almost anything.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's one of my favorites.
Can.
So that was our, or at least that was the extent of my list today of my hype, the price, the over under game. So hopefully that helped people.
I think so. I think a lot of these, unfortunately, are kind of things that you have to just like, I mean, I think there are a few things that it's just like, no, it's not worth your time. But I think a lot of this is all just like personal preference.
Agreed.
So I know there are some people who swear by beauty blenders and that's all they want to use. They don't care. They have no interest in trying. That's how I was when I first started working at the store.
I know. But I do think, challenging yourself to step outside your box for sure.
Yes.
Recognizing that, some of the ingredients in old school stuff is maybe not great for you. So maybe look for a change.
I was just going to say that, like, if you feel like you have an issue, like genuinely take a look at like what you're doing.
Yep.
And when somebody suggests like, oh, maybe try that, don't like squash it immediately. Maybe try it.
And
if
also,
you're already not liking your routine or whatever's going on with your face, maybe there's a reason.
And also, don't just say, oh, I want it because the influencer told me to have it.
Yes.
Right? Like, do a little homework, read about it on the website, try and decipher, like, is that my skin?
Yeah.
know your skin, know what you're getting into, and make a good decision.
A lot of the times with the influencers, it's really misleading because they don't necessarily have to say that they are an affiliate or they're like being paid by this brand.
Right.
So they could probably hate it. I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe they actually do love it. But they might hate it and they're just speaking nicely about it because they're being paid to.
Yeah.
So that's also really important, is to make sure that you're following influencers who are open and honest when they get sponsorships and partnerships. Otherwise, you're literally kind of being lied to a little bit.
A little bit. Or if you're not, at least know that they have some skin in the game.
Yes.
When they're pitching it to you.
There's a reason that they're pitching it to you.
There's a reason. So, I mean, heck, I the other day was doing a makeup application and the woman had a brown eyeliner that she loved. And I was like, rock it. Keep it. Like, I don't have to, you don't have to change something if it works for you. If I can give you a reason why, maybe, hey, that beauty blender looks gross, or, stop using makeup wipes as your cleanser. There's legitimate reasons for that. But otherwise, if it works, stick with it. But if you're falling into the hype, look into it more. And obviously, we are a resource. We are at London Beauty. We can help you any day of the week.
Yes, you
check us out online.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a contact page on our website. You can also DM us. We're always super active on our Instagram and our Facebook too. Or you can always call the store, and we have spent hours, honestly, chatting with people, walking them through a routine.
We've done Zooms for people, like FaceTimes and Zooms, like to help them work out products and what products they love. So we are always more than welcome to do that too. So anyhow, that was the plug for London Beauty on this podcast. So we hope you guys liked that. We hope that was helpful. I thought it'd be a really fun way to kind of go through some of the things that we keep seeing and keep getting questions about. So I think that's it for today. Right. Nice and short and to the point.
Yeah, right? I like it. This is a shorter episode. This is only like 40 minutes so far.
That for us is a good deal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you guys in a week, and enjoy spring. It has sprung here in Michigan, and we are excited.
Finally.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.